nonconformists. And as a nonconformist myself, I just feel this desire to share with you guys my perspective on things that aren't really standardized. Like, we live in a world where there are certain universal truths, and sometimes I find them to be really damaging, or I feel like there are a multitude and a diversity of different truths, and I think it's so important to express that, because when we start just making blanket generalizations, we start to exclude other people, and particularly nonconformists end up feeling really lost and confused, not understanding why, things seem to be working for everyone but not themselves. It's because we're meant to have a different process. And other times, I personally just think that we as a society have some things just really fucked up. One of them being the idea of celebrating being fucking fearless. What is that about? That bothers me. People are like, be fearless. Why? Fear is an emotion that's a part of us because it's necessary. Yes, it absolutely gets misused. It exaggerates. It can create analysis paralysis, and it can create complications, but it can also keep us safe. It also makes us highly intuitive. It has high value. It's really about how you use it that makes fear valuable or problematic. That you could say the same thing about fucking water, but it's all about connotation. Water is seen as healing, even though it can technically kill us too. Should we eliminate water from our diet? Absolutely not. It's the same thing with fear. Okay, it can mess with us, but that doesn't mean that because of that we should just be suppressing it and eliminating it. That causes a whole slew of complications. Okay, when you start labeling certain emotions and feelings as bad, we start resisting them. The problem isn't the actual emotion. It's not fear, depression, anger, sadness, jealousy. It's the resistance of these emotions that cause problems. Okay, then we start getting fragmented. We start censoring, suppressing, repressing, internalizing, and we just start having all of these issues, and we start labeling things like this is good, this is bad, and then we try to control shit, and it doesn't fucking work. It's important for us to be honest, accepting, understanding, and just holding space for it all, and recognizing that these feelings exist because we're meant to experience them, and it's our responsibility to manage them in a way that is empowering and responsible, and that means fucking acknowledging that it is there. All right? Now, I'm going to share with you guys a quote that or quote story, a little tidbit that I created on Facebook on being fearless. And I'm going to put my Instagram handle on the bottom if I haven't already. So you can go ahead and follow me and see it for yourself. It's on this really pretty purple backdrop. But it basically says, fuck being fearless. Trying to strip away your fear is like trying to peel your skin off. Your fear is a part of you. Embrace it. Be full of fear and go for it. It's called courage. All right? I want you to just really sit with that for a moment. Fuck being fearless. Trying to strip away fear is like trying to peel off your skin. Your fear is a part of you. Embrace it. Be full of fear and go for it. It's called courage. Okay? I mean, so often people want to be fearless because they're like, oh, fear is debilitating me. So if I just get rid of fear, then I won't be debilitated, except you can't fucking get rid of fear. So really, you're making an industry out of lying to yourself, which is unsustainable, emotionally dangerous, damaging, destructive, and it just perpetuates new problems because people, aren't going to be able to sustain being fearless. You can suppress, you can deny, you can lie, and that's going to create new issues. But the body is highly intelligent, and the more self-aware someone is, the more, someone might not be able to accommodate and be cooperative, and no matter how much they try, be fearless, and then they might be like, oh, I'm the problem because I can't get rid of fear. I guess I'm going to be scared, and so I guess I'm just going to be stuck, not moving forward in my life because fear is holding me back. No, that is not the fucking problem. You can be scared shitless and move forward. I mean, I get scared all the time. And that's the thing that is really interesting to me. People think like, oh, you're just so daring, Jaymie, because you're fearless. No, I'm fucking daring because I've learned to navigate my life with fear. It is exhausting to sit there and try to pretend to be who you're not and try to push forward. That's so strenuous and it's so unnecessary. In fact, you're more likely to achieve your goals and your desires and your results by being who you are. It's better to work with yourself rather than against yourself. You know, it's like trying to get rid of fear. That's just an extra thing that you have to now add to your list. That's not going to work, by the way. I mean, it doesn't fucking make sense to me. It's like, just learn to fucking be responsible. Just learn to manage your energy. Just, you know, like, why are we creating a problem where there isn't one? It just doesn't make sense. Yes, I understand some people's fears are extremely debilitating and there may be solace from disengaging from it, but that is still a short-term problem, a short-term solution to a long-term problem. Now, if you're watching this video and you are like in this space where your fears are just so debilitating that it is affecting your day-to-day life, then I recommend that you get therapy, you see a coach, or you get professional help, but don't fucking suppress it. And I would say even people who are having this debilitation, it's because you're resisting it. It's not because it's there, because when you allow yourself to experience it, it'll eventually move through you much more efficiently. It's when you try to pretend that it isn't there, that's when complications arise. It's insane. Now, if you hopped over to this video because you watched my other video on meditate so the 3-year-old version of you doesn't run the show, I've promised you that I'm going to talk to you guys just a little bit about human design. For those of you guys who didn't watch that video, go ahead and click the link below. It's going to take you to that meditation. It's a different way to inspire you to start meditating. It's a way that I wish someone had told me so I would have gotten the benefits of meditating right away. And it's a very different way to see things, and that shit just really opens your eyes. Now, back to human design. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with what it is, it's a modern spiritual manual that reveals how you've been uniquely designed as a human. It tells you the best way for you to navigate the world, what works for you, why, and why not. And I love this so much as a nonconformist because we live in this world that has like this universal idea of this is what you got to do to be successful, even though there are, rules to the exception. And so many people just collectively try to follow these rules and these processes. It doesn't work. And then people kind of think like, oh, it's because I'm the problem. And it's like, no, when you use a process that's not meant for you, that's when complications arise. It's not you, it's just you got to pick something that's compatible to you. And human design does a wonderful job revealing. If you want to learn more about it, follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I host workshops on it, and I'll be hosting virtual workshops on it very soon. So it is just super, absolutely phenomenal, you guys. And in human design, we have what's called an inner authority. An inner authority, unless you are a reflector, which is a type of human design energy type, but if you're not, all of us have an inner authority, and this inner authority basically reveals the best way for us to make a decision. It's like our spiritual, intuitive inner guidance system, and it helps us to make decisions between yes and no. And so if you have the splenic as an inner authority, this is going to be one of your energy centers that's defined. And what that means is you have consistent access to this energy source. You actually are supposed to use fear as a way to navigate making decisions in your life, because fear is how it communicates to you on the best way for you to do things. So you have to learn to distinguish the subtle nuances of fear and what it feels like in your body. So yes energy feels like fear, no energy feels like fear, but in a different way. So yes, fear might feel like excited, nervous, a butterfly, you're scared, you're uncertain, but it's also really like intriguing, you're curious, you're drawn towards it, It's like that like new feeling. It's almost like a flutter that goes on. Whereas no fear energy may be like gut-wrenching, and you may feel this heaviness of just being really out of integrity, like you're just like, oh my God, I so don't want to do this, right? And if you don't distinguish the subtleties of it, then it's going to be really difficult for you to make this decision. And it's so important for you to understand, you know, that this is something that you're meant to listen to rather than to ignore it. You get what I'm saying? And there are 5 different human design energy types, and there are 3, manifestor, projector, and generator, that can potentially have splenic as your inner authority. So 3 out of 5 fucking human design energy types should be using fear as a way to guide and navigate them in their decision-making process. And yet we live in a fucking world that says, learn, be fearless. Are you fucking shitting me? No. Do not try to fundamentally change the core of who you are. The human body is wildly intelligent, primal, wise beyond what we can possibly understand. We should not be trying to make altercations, like not anything like this. We, in a lot of ways, are highly advanced, highly intelligent. This is not one of those things that we should be fucking around with, though. Okay, so this is just a really quick tidbit. You know, there's more details about what is an inner authority, what does it mean to have a defined energy center, you know, things like that. I just want to tell you really quickly, a defined energy center is basically a type of energy center that you have consistent access to. Another thing to point out is some people have splenic as their inner authority, which means you have to listen to fear in order to make your decisions, because that's how your intuition communicates with you. But some people may not have splenic as an inner authority, and you can still have it as a defined energy center. I have splenic as a defined energy center, so I have consistent access to that energy source. And so when fear shows up, it's really important for me to discern what it means as well. In addition to that, it's also important to point out that if it's undefined, that means your access to it sort of fluctuates. But when you're around someone who has the splenic energy center defined, it activates in you. So even for those of you guys who don't ordinarily have the splenic authority defined, you know, even for you, it's important to understand it, especially if you don't have a consistent relationship and connection with it, because when it does show up, you want to be familiar with it, because, you know, it's not something that you remembered from 30 seconds ago. So you really want to deepen that consciousness so that when it does show up, you know what it means and you know how to utilize that information. And I am so grateful that human design has validated something that I've known to be true for so long. But even without it, I mean, come on, you guys, even if you guys can fucking get rid of fear, that's an extra thing. Why get rid of something that can support you and help you? Because in some ways, you're misusing it when you can just learn to be responsible. Like, come on, you know, like there's a way. It's called courage. You think people are courageous because they're absent of fear? No. People who are fucking courageous and badass and brave and just, you know, do things that are terrifying, it's actually because we have a deeper, richer relationship and connection with fear. We understand it. We have an intimate connection with it. Okay, so I would venture that it's not fear that holds us back. It's the resistance and the absence of fear that's actually what's dangerous, and that's the shit that holds us back. All right, because you can't move forward and be successful in your life if you're spending all your time hiding and pretending to be someone that you're not. Like, that is exhausting to sustain. So please abandon being fearless, be full of fear and move forward anyways. It's called courage. Fuck being fearless. All right, you are fearless and badass. I promise you. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. And if you haven't already, watch the meditate so the 3-year-old version of you isn't running the show, all right? And let me know, comment below with your thoughts. Bye.